Morning, welcome to the Knox County Commissioners meeting for February 24th, 2026. We'll start out this morning with an update from Bethany at Knox County Transit.
Thank you. Bethany Selmar, I'm the transit director. It's been a couple months since I've been able to do a real update. I think we did the ribbon cutting and then we had the holidays and weather and all of that. So I wanted to kind of give a overview on a couple different things, just where we are services and funding wise in the last 6 months of 2025. So I kind of skipped down to the middle just to give you just an overview. So we did 5,040 trips in January. A lot of that's lower because we had quite a bit of weather. We had some closures and some times that we needed to stay inside the city limits because the roads. Also, we see a trend when the temperature starts to drop, people start to cancel their rides. They don't want to go out. They don't really want to, I don't want to go out. So, I don't want to be shopping in that. So we definitely saw a lot of a dip. We also had Kenyon was still on break. So, there were a lot of factors in January. So that was our trip count. Right now, where we're looking at, I've got about 32% of our riders are seniors. I know that's been something that we've wanted to look at before, and then I'm about 20% persons with a disability. So that's
50% is seniors and
yes,
disability.
yeah,
Right.
yes, exactly. So, and that was for the January trip. So looking at that. Our trip purpose is shifted a little bit. We actually are up to 52% employment. So over half of our rides are getting people to or from work. And then we're at 20% medical trips and 13% personal, 8% education, and 7% shopping. So we really are hitting some really big needs and some big um, just niches in the community where we want to be, right where we want to be with workforce and access to healthcare. And those are kind of the two priorities there. Um, so just to give a recap, here's my budget in a pie chart. I just like budgets and pie charts. And so I did all of the federal funding in green, if you have it in color, just to kind of give that representation. I think this is the best visual representation of how fares affect our federal funding. So you can tell that this federal ops is not quite half, and the piece that is taking out of it is the fares. So fares reduce our federal funding. They make up that 50% of what we're doing. And then the rest of this I did put our capital maintenance federal in there. That's what CM is. And then we get our state funding. That's what for a 6 month time period, the county funding used, the city funding, and then our contract revenue and advertising. So the thing I wanted to highlight with this is ideally that county pie should only be 100,000, and then our contracts should be 175 or 176. So ideally we would be making that in the contract revenue so that we can stay within the bounds of all of our funding from city, county, state. I looked at the contract revenue. It actually can be traced back to um, there was a kind of a therapy after school program that was on the net program that's no longer happening anymore. And we used to do nightly transportation for that. That's about $1,200 a week that we're losing or that we lost. We learned that we were losing that in September. And then there were a few other people out of county that rode with us very regularly. Some people 2, 3 times a week, sometimes once a month. So those out of county trips are actually very important to our revenue stream, and we lost some of those. Not really under anybody's control. Circumstances change, and that is almost exactly the chunk that I need that we would have had. So I think I calculated out to be about 24,000 a quarter, so roughly $50,000 that would have been that we did not get, and that would have definitely closed that gap. So that's just kind of our proportions there. That's a little bit of that when you're doing contract revenue and it's based on demand and what you book. That's kind of, you roll the dice and that's what we get. So just giving you that picture there. I did also want to talk about, and I don't know why, in the last couple of weeks, I was thinking about aspects that most people in the public probably don't think about in our operations. And one of the comments we get occasionally is about empty buses. And so I wanted to talk about 4 times in a driver's day when their bus should be empty, and it absolutely should be. One is when they're pulling out and going across town for their first trip. 2 is when they're coming back for lunch, and so they're going to be out of service. We don't want to leave someone on the bus for that. 3 is when they're coming back from lunch. So they're going to have an empty bus as they're going to pick up their first person. And the 4th one is when they pull in and they're out of service. So what also most people don't know, what are our shifts? I've got 4 drivers that start at 5 and they end at 1. We have 2 that do 6 to 2. I have another 4 to 5 people that come in 7 to 3. We've got 8 to 4:30. We've got 9 to 5, and I've got 10 to 6, and I've got 11 to 7. So I have drivers who are starting their day at every single hour of the day. And then you throw in there lunches start around 9 a.m., 9:30. So then we've got drivers pulling in with empty buses around 9, and we've got drivers pulling out. So yes, you will see empty buses. There's no way to avoid that when we're out of service or we're going to and from lunch. That could be some of the confusion because it is also, you're seeing it at 10, you're seeing it at 11, you're seeing it at 12. That goes, and then it goes all the way through, then our shift end at 1 and 2 and 3. So literally every day you're going to see some empty buses. You might even see 2 or 3 empty buses pulling out at that Columbus Road intersection. Well, that's because they're coming from lunch or they're starting their day. So I just wanted to kind of give that tidbit of something to think about as folks are seeing that. It doesn't mean that we're not being efficient. And it doesn't mean that we're not totally booked. It just means you got to get to that first ride. So
That's hard.
yeah, sure. And I'm trying to think of some of those things. It's hard when you're saturated and everything. My world is all that transportation, and you don't think about, for those who are not regularly, different aspects that might be helpful. So
I got some.
yeah,
How is your staffing?
good. Well, it is where it needs to be for our budget. So I cannot hire, I definitely can't hire any more full timers. So, and I am intending to find somebody who's doing just out of county, a part timer, which is going to really, really, really help us out. So,
So the loss of 50,000 has put a bit of a deficit in your staffing level. Lost.
well, yeah, so that was actually, this is from the federal funding cuts of what was it, 12.5%. So it was like $125,000 in federal funds in July. So yes, that we are still feeling that. Yes.
Do you anticipate more cuts from the federal government?
I do anticipate, I don't think it will be significant, but I do anticipate some. We know that, well, I know that at least one additional transit is being added to the pie again. So that was last year as well. They had to take away from people to be able to establish, I think it was 2 new transits. And then there's another new transit for state fiscal year
So those are
27.
Ohio new transits.
This is
Okay.
like Ohio has
Or
the
people
pie.
split the money.
Exactly. So I don't think that last year, I don't really think that was actual federal money that was being reduced out of the budget. It was ODOT splitting the pie differently. Yeah, and that will happen this year too. I don't know anything about the federal level if they're talking about the funding, this would be the year that it would probably come through. But nobody seems to have any idea. So,
How's, the flex routes working?
well, so we made some changes starting in January. We found that we didn't have time to deviate for everyone. So what we were doing was flexing and picking people up, and most people liked us coming to their door or to the curb in front. So this is the next step where we're not doing that and it has to be board at a stop. So we can drop you off at a location different than one of the stops, but you have to get on at a stop. And it has reduced the number of riders. It's also winter. It's also really a hard time to be waiting out at a stop. So I think once the spring comes, we're gonna look at that. We did open up the route to the industrial park, so we're hoping to see some shift in that and help with that workforce transportation, getting those folks down. So,
You mentioned, that you increased, your employment percentages to 50 area.
mhm.
Are you getting any help from any of these employers?
I have not. So it's, I'm certainly going to be bumping that up to the higher priority and pushing a little bit harder. Because, you know, anytime we're getting squeezed, it's gonna be employment, it's gonna be jobs. There are a few people I need to follow up with, and there are still a few employers that I'm trying to get a first meeting with, so.
I would be glad to help you with that. Of course, I met with one of the
Yes.
people. The thing I think would be relevant for us to do that is single out the company that's using it the most, if you have
Yes.
the ability to do that.
Yes,
And then when we go to them, you know, you can say, hey, there's, you know, we're bringing 15, 10. How many people here today for your work? How about a little help, you know,
Yeah.
because it is funding that makes it go. So if you get that, I'll be glad to help.
Yeah. And I do have that, the biggest user is Walmart.
Yeah, yeah.
I have met with her. That's hard, you know, they do have some funding that they get to use locally. I need to follow up, but I don't know how
I was
that.
gonna say major
Yeah.
corporations
Yeah,
probably.
but if you wanna
pretty
go with
steep-
me and maybe
pretty-
pull all of the.
Pretty steep ladder
It
there.
is,
in that
it is a
corporate.
pretty, yes, so that's difficult, and then if you look down the list, we do have a lot that are Wendy's and McDonald's and Tim Hortons, you know, there are a lot of chains. So those are difficult.
They
to get
used to
involved.
have in town, in the county, and I don't know if it's there anymore, but, a restaurant owners association. And I don't know if that's in existence anymore or not, but it was kind of nice because if you wanted some Little League Babe Ruth, if you remember that years ago, Jeff, I'm sure there, you could go to that organization and it was always one of those restaurants were willing to throw a little bit of change at it, so
Yeah, I didn't know that, yeah, if that.
I'll do a little work there. I don't
There's a
know.
lot of restaurants, yeah.
Those chains, corporations do a lot, a certain amount of money. It's kind of local advertising in a way.
Right.
To support things locally. So that usually, I think, falls to the local store managers to make some of those decisions. It should be that they would see the transit system as
Right.
a community support, but also a support to their business.
Right.
Right.
Right,
We're bringing their employees there, so.
exactly.
Bethany is the night bus that we were running only for employment, basically.
Yes.
Is that stopping, right? Cause we got that grant money from the state
Right.
and that is as a test and obviously it was
Well.
popular and now there's no funding to keep it going.
Right, so I think that's the conversation. Most of my first conversations are fairly light about, hey, in this night bus, would you like to sponsor it? At this point now, it's gonna be, this is the end date. I think that has to be the
And
conversation.
what are the hours of that bus?
It goes 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. It's still packed. It's still very difficult to get people on there. And there's a situation right now where there's someone that might not be able to keep their job because you can't really get him on there. But I do think that's the conversation of if we don't get the contributions, then it's gonna have to
You
be.
say can't get them on there, which is capacity, is that what you're saying? It's
Yes,
over-
yes, it's only one driver, so we can't be in two places of the county at
gotcha.
once. And that's what the request is. We've gotta be on two edges.
And what was the amount of that grant initially from ODOT was
That was 200,000.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 200,000
to
to
run that
start
for a
it.
year?
Yep. And then really to incorporate it into the operations, we're looking for half of it that we can match with the federal, you know.
Is
if
that
we-
mostly employment? Are they going to restaurants and bars?
It's employment at the restaurants, yes. We have done folks that are, you know, have been drinking and taken them home. It's not a huge majority, but that is available and we want that to be available. If we're passing through town and it lines up with the timing. The hard part about that is that you've got to book your ride before we close. So you better know when you're gonna leave, and I don't think that really lines up with, you know, some people might not know when they're gonna be leaving.
It's mostly employment then.
Yeah,
Right.
it is, yes, yes.
And you did reapply for that grant and ODOT gave the money to urban transportation, right? Urban Transportation.
That's the other thing, what, there was the net setbacks, but, so this was, I applied for, it's workforce transportation, it's through the state. It looks like a fantastic program. I applied for the industrial route, the route that would meet with our other routes and get people to work. I asked for about 98,000 and I did not get anything. And I talked to ODOT and they said it was a great application. But the way that that funding is, it's federal funding that would have to pass through ODOT to come to me, so it would be probably a year to a year and a half before I got it. But urbans, they can get it right now. Urban transits are set up differently. They can take that money for their operations and run with it. The other part is that it's also linked to pollution or emissions reduction. And there is a formula that would kind of calculate where you score on how much pollution you are stopping, which thankfully we don't have a big problem in Knox County with that, but they said they didn't even do the calculation for us because we're rural. The other part is I think there are some political players in Columbus that push for certain funding to go certain places is what I would, yes. I'm putting it nicely, but I was told is political money and it's workforce and it's a nice, you know, it's something that is a good feather in your cap. So it ended up going to Coda and also some things up near Cleveland that those places, it's well known, they aren't lacking funding. Coda is not lacking funding, but they got $1 million out of
How
it.
many people do you think between 7 and 1 year taking work in the community on that bus to get to work? That's
Yeah.
their sole transportation to get to work.
Yes.
That night shift.
Yes.
How
Yes.
many do you
How
think?
many? I would have to do a survey, but I think probably 75%. I think. I mean, we're working with.
Which is what, 20 people, 15 people?
Yeah.
20 people probably a night.
It's a pretty good piece.
Yeah.
That's gonna be tough if that goes, so we
It-
needed
yes.
98,000 locally to get that, or from
Well, this
ODOT.
was for the route, so
Okay.
I'm not allowed to apply for the night bus. That was a one-time expansion.
Okay.
Now it's considered part of my operations that I have to sustain.
So they put the money out there, then when you pick it up, do it a year later, they pull the
Once you
money.
proof of concept that
Yeah.
it works.
Well, that really was the goal. That was the intention. I don't wanna be, you
It's
know,
not
hey,
funded.
we did it. And it was something that many people came to me with a need in 2023. There was going to be a meeting that we were gonna try to subcontract with people in Columbus to do it, which would have been way more expensive. I said, give me a chance. Let's see if we can do it. So, you know, you put it out there, but we do need contributions to be sustaining it, you know? And it's not a great time though to be asking. I mean, I don't wanna say that, you know, we know that for-profit businesses are trying to make a profit and maybe they don't have a lot to contribute, but
We were hoping to get several to just give a little,
Yes.
right? That
that's
wasn't the
all.
plan,
Yes.
wasn't to ask somebody for a lot.
No.
It was,
Yes,
yeah.
Everybody does their
everyone
part.
chips in, yeah. So, yeah, so I've got round 2 of conversations and a few round 1s as well.
With the business development that is starting to come to Knox County, do any of the future employers ever reach out to you and ask you about transit? No,
No, I haven't. I would love to connect with them.
just curious
Yeah.
because, it seems like we're getting some people who are interested in coming to the area for
Mhm.
opening some manufacturing type things. I just wondered as part of their investigation if they'd ever reached out to you.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to connect with anyone just to educate on the services that they might need and then see if they would be interested in
Yeah.
supporting it. So, yeah, I do think we will probably have to set an end date for the night bus soon and see if we can get some support for it and keep it going. I mean, the other things that would be in danger would be Saturdays. But that's actually a lot of workforce as well. There's a lot of folks, those tend to be the shifts that people with disabilities have, either the evenings and the weekends. We take a lot of people to Goodwill to work on Saturdays. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
Well, to make a long story short, you're $98,000 short of budget to make this continue.
Yes, yes, the night bus, is that
Oh, yeah,
what,
the
yes,
night bus is right.
actually, it's about 80,000. Yeah, the 98,000 was for, we were gonna have 2 drivers on that industrial route during the daytime. That was what we didn't get.
And then the other piece there is just the budgetary in general, the conversations we've had is if you had to reduce some level of service, what would that be? And would you, keep the Monday through Friday hours as they are and eliminate or reduce Saturday? That would be probably, we would have to have that discussion. We wouldn't want to have that discussion, but we would have to have that
We
discussion.
need to have that.
Yeah, the thing that pops out in my mind is you hate to start something and then not finish it completely and then quit in the middle or
Mhm.
have some success and then quit. That kind of concept bothers me.
Yes. It-
Well, just
yeah.
to those 20 people, that's gonna be their lifeblood.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, now how do they
Right.
sustain their life if we get rid of those?
And we did have a second night bus for a while, so we were doing about 35 trips in an evening, and then we had to reduce that. So folks either found another way, but
So
Yeah.
is it still ride for free, Bethany? or-
it is. We
Right.
could do fares, but again, that's gonna
It just
just
reduces.
cut off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring the money back here.
All donations.
Yeah, that will, by doing that, it reduces your funding.
If the fare was actually a donation.
Yes,
Then it
Yeah.
doesn't go against your funding, but it
exactly.
might kick in and help.
Exactly, and that is, so actually Coshocton County does that,
Do
and
they?
it's been something in the back of my mind. I don't know what we would get, but if we didn't charge fares, but we had donations, I could use all of that for match. So, what are we
Doesn't
getting?
affect your funding.
Right, it doesn't,
Right.
right, it actually doubles it, right, it has the
Mhm.
opposite effect. But I think people, have the concept, and I agree that if it's free, then people don't always value it or, wanting to pay into, at least make your contribution to it and pay the fare.
Mhm.
So,
Like I
There's
said,
a campaign around donating. Keep our
yeah,
transit system
yes,
operating,
right.
every little bit of.
Anything gets
If
matched.
if you
right.
get me volume or percentages of the manufacturers or the companies that are using that for
Yeah.
employment, you and I will go knock on a door or two and see if you can
Yeah.
pull some strings.
We can. The thing is that we serve many of the manufacturers, but it's only about two or three people, maybe 5 here. And so that was the one conversation I'd had with one of them was it's only 3 people. I'm not interested in contributing. So that's not a huge portion of their workforce. Now it's 3 people that you wouldn't be able to have work for you, but I understand.
With ADF, just about.
I have not. I have not.
Maybe we ought to probably
Yeah.
sit down with Sam
Can we
too.
centralize
How
it?
it impacts local business.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And how-
we probably should have that
Well,
conversation.
how that impacts the corporations that come and some of those financial pieces,
Yes.
attracting business.
Like I say, if
Yeah.
you can get a corporations, manufacturers here, but we can't get their workers to them. That's not the best scenario either.
Right. And then again, I mean, I think Walmart, it is 19. The last time I checked, it was 19 employees. So that is a
It's amazing,
huge
yeah,
hit
actually.
if they can't get to work or get home.
And if you told them this is ending,
I have not given them the end date, no.
Are we
So-
allowed to set a number per employee that we charge these companies?
Yes, that could be contract revenue. If an employer would want to cover,
No, we can't
They're
force it.
yeah, you can't force it all.
Oh.
Charge them.
No.
To run the room, we have
Oh,
to, we say,
yeah.
we do, we
if they
bring.
wanted to.
We bring 20 employees here, we charge X amount per
Right.
employee to
Mm.
do that, if you'd like us to continue to do that.
Ooh, wow.
I mean, since you've already done the soft ass.
Yes. Right,
Maybe time to say
Right.
this is what we charge,
yeah,
and we'll have to drop this as part of our stuff. So if
right, right. I mean, I can
it
figure
means
that
you
out.
being able to do it or not do it, right?
Right.
This comes down to,
Exactly,
we either lose the system or
Right.
we have the system, they
Right.
may want to pitch in at that place.
I mean, I think at that point, a donation is probably.
I was gonna say, that's gonna be.
Right, the sponsorship is an easier
Good.
thing for them, so, but yeah, you know, pitching something like
I
that.
suppose you could make it a recommended amount per employee.
Right, we could
But the bottom
calculate
line
it
is
that way.
if it doesn't get funded, they lose the opportunity to have it, which means
Mhm.
20 employees are impacted getting to work. And that sounds like almost a whole shift at Walmart,
Mhm.
wouldn't
Yeah,
it? I would
yeah,
think.
yeah,
I don't know about that every time.
it's all, well, it's all scattered throughout the day, so it's not
But
all
it's
on
not
the
big
big
enough.
side, but yes. So, yeah, it's a difficult conversation, but
We appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
thank you, yeah, thank you, I appreciate and just wanted to get more of that information in front of you, but yeah, we'll.
Get with me.
About, yeah, we'll talk some more and kind of get some more percentages and lists.
Mhm.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Yeah. Do we wanna start going through some of the resolutions?
At 1:30.
Do we wanna start going through some of the resolutions while we're waiting?
But,
Yes.
for this year,
All right.
these are ready to roll.
Morning.
How are we?
Good
Good.
morning.
Good.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and get rolling, Courtney.
All right, Courtney Lauer, she hers, I'm the HR director for Knox County. So you have my report in front of you, do you? So we're readying the HR department to incorporate a new HR coordinator who, of course, as you know, Robin, coming up to join us, bringing that course of property and fleet management as well as the timekeeping system under HR. So thank you very much for helping us get the suite, outfitted to accommodate that. We really appreciate it as we're expanding and growing. So thank you for that. Andrea has the defensive driving classes scheduled for April 13th. At 9 a.m. We will have a little bit lengthier training for newer employees that have not gone through it before. And then at 1 o'clock, there'll be a refresher for seasoned employees. And then we'll also schedule another one of these in the fall to capture those newer employees that come on board in the middle of the year and those that were not able to get into the refresher this time around. Andrea and I attended Opelra's annual HR/LR training conference the beginning of this month. Always packed full with updates on changing employment law and things of that nature. So grateful to be able to go to that conference each year. Annual employee evaluations are due by the end of the month, and we're looking really good. All of your departments are on track to have everybody filed by the end of the week, so that's really good.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes.
We're getting there.
They are. And then just a reminder that our wellness program, we have 4 months to go in that. So that will end at the end of June. And employees are encouraged to do just a few of those requirements in order to be eligible for our wellness program. I've listed out the open, oh, hey Siri, that's what she found today. Open positions that are currently being posted on the county's website are listed out there for you. Parks Department is still looking for interns for their summer internship program. We have a part-time custodian position, part-time CDL driver for transit, and full-time positions for 911 dispatchers, just to tease a few of those out. So if anyone is looking for a great opportunity to come join us at the county, then please go to the website and check out our employment opportunities. I've listed there for you how our applicants are hearing about our jobs, as well as the interviewing, onboarding, and offboarding that we have done in the last month. A little bit slower in February than we were the year before. And then currently we are monitoring 25 FMLA cases as opposed to 19 last month. So that's picked up a little bit for us. So
Yeah, she done.
yeah, I got fat wrists. I send her off quite often. Sorry about that. Questions, concerns, feedback?
No. Hopefully the moves that we're doing, it leaves us some pressure off everybody up there.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be nice to have another person to help us out with interviewing and onboarding, offboarding, all that good stuff. So yes, grateful to
You're
have.
doing a great job, sir.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. If there's anything you need before I see you next time, just let me know.
Wonderful. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
What a Valentine's Day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You folks have a great day.
Yes, Lord.
Thank you.
Good. All right, Commissioner, we've got a list here to get through. We need to approve an advertisement for a public hearing for salt brine application for United Aggregates.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor, say aye.
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 And I should say that's Parrott Street. And then we have another one, request to approve an advertisement, public hearing, salt brine for United Aggregates, Millersburg Road, Danville.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we now have the contract to approve the contract with Modern Builders for the Knox County Transit and Business Center Facility Project in the amount of $2,574,508. And to authorize Jason Booth, County Administrator, for signing these documents and for ongoing project fulfillment.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So you sign this, and then you guys get to sign it too. Both of you will need to sign in at the bottom there. Here's your pen back.
Thank you.
Okay. And then we have a grant agreement for community development block grant for program year 2025 critical infrastructure for the Danville water facility improvements in the amount of $300,000. So this is from the Ohio Department of Development. It'll pass through the county to Danville.
Motion to approve.
Second, and that, I haven't been out there for a while. They gotta be getting close to having this done, don't they?
This one, this is a new one.
That's a new, that Parks was the other.
Yeah, the
one.
Parks is the other one.
Right. Motion second, motion approved, yeah.
Okay, so
Aye.
that
All in
one,
favor, say
Right.
aye. Aye.
Barry,
that one, I think just Barry signs.
and then once we sign that, Barry, you will need to get that email back out and sign it electronically.
Right.
Once now that it's approved.
Okay, so we have approved a support letter with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for the Knox County Park District application for funding for the recreational trails program.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that So, oh, let's see, during the year down, you're both on here, there's your signature, it's just hard to see, it's not a lot of room there. Okay, and then the Knox Community Hospital reached out and asked for letters of support. They were going to Washington, I believe, to meet with our representatives for a PET and a CT mobile unit. And so they're asking for 3 levels of support. We'll do each one. The first one is the letter to Senator Moreno.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then the next one is for Congressman Balderson.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye. Aye.
And then the last one is, oh, is that, wait, is there just, there's a third one in there.
Houston.
Oh, yeah, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta flip it over this way. There we go. Senator Houston.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
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 Now we have some copier agreements. So the first one is to approve a document management agreement with Modern Office Methods, for this is the Knox County Treasurer copier.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There's a ton of signatures for Barry on these. The next one is an agreement with Modern Office Methods for the County Clerk of Courts copier.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then the last one is with Modern Office Methods, and this is for or I guess it's our lease is up on the county commissioner copier, so to swap it out, basically the same unit, right?
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we have approved a sales order with Southeastern Equipment Company for the Knox County Engineer to purchase a 2016 used asphalt paver in the amount of $131,170, and this will come out of engineers funding.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
These all, and that's just Barry, so you can just put that on the stack, I guess, there. And then we have a contractor application for payment number 4 to McConnell Contracting for the Pleasant Valley Road Bridge project in the amount of $69,900. And this is funded with the county engineer funding.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have a change order number 2, a final for McConnell Contracting for the Pleasant Road. There's the Pleasant Valley Road Bridge replacement, and this is an increase of $10,630.06 for cost increases and adjustments to final quantities.
And Cameron approves those, right?
Yes, those are from Cameron, yep.
A motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we have several of these force accounts. I think I've talked to both of you about time and material and what the county commissioner, county engineer did. So we'll just go down the list. The first one is to allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install all culvert pipes between 12 inches and 18-inch diameter pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So no signature on those, just approvals, right?
Right.
Okay. The next one is to allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace or install culvert pipes between 24 and 36 inches in diameter pursuant to the ORC.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say
Aye.
aye.
Next is to allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install culvert pipes between 42 and 48-inch diameter.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we have allowed Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force accounting to replace or install culvert pipes between 54 and 72-inch in diameter.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say
Aye.
And the last one is,
aye.
no, we got several more, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Okay, I thought this was another one. Allow county and Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force accounting to replace and install new concrete box number 20 in Morgan Township.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install new concrete box number 48 Milford Township.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install new concrete box 78 in Harrison Township.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install new concrete box number 110 in Miller Township.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install new concrete box number 138 Hilliard Township.
Motion to approve.
Second, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then lastly, allow Cameron Keaton, county engineer, to use force account to replace and install concrete box 161 Miller Township.
Motion to approve.
And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And then we have, Commissioner, this is your bills, but we also have just 3 items that we have received. Just to enter into the record, the first one is the Knox County Treasurer Depository and Investment Income Report for January. The revenue was $81,635.13. We'll enter that into the record. We also were notified, as we typically are, from the Division of Liquor Control of a transfer of a liquor permit from Newton's LLC to Newton's LLC Dutchess Bar on Columbus Road in Melbourne. And unless you want a hearing, that's a normal transfer process. And then the last item is we received a letter from the Commonwealth Development for notification of a 66 unit development at 17795 Coshocton Road, Mount Vernon. And this is for senior housing. And so there's nothing up here to approve. It's just that we've received this letter. It was sent by certified mail.
We have a visitor, Mr. Jeff Klein. Jeff, did you want to address the Board of Commissioners?
Yeah, if I could, just a question. Talking to Barry Bowden the other day, little concern we have in the neighborhood down there on Meadowood Lane. My question is, what is the role? Because I know Barry said you guys are over the dog ward. What is the role of the county dog warden in the neighborhood? A couple of the main roles that they're to take care of.
What is their responsibilities,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
In a nutshell.
Well, I mean, they're responsible for dog tags, menacing dogs, danger dogs, housing of the animals once captured. So I mean, it's lengthy. It isn't just
And I know I went out and talked to him the other day. I went out and spoke to him.
right.
Right. But, and I understand housing, it costs money and it takes time and rounding them up. But I wish they would put a little more emphasis on vicious dogs. We have a situation going on and it's almost like it's being overlooked.
And you've reported it, yeah.
Yeah, Yep.
Is it a loose vicious dog or a fenced?
it gets loose.
Okay.
It's pit bull,
Oh.
and what the problem is, it's Marty Rambo and she was on township trustee or whatever for College Township. I've talked with them. I've talked with the son in my driveway after it attacked my dog a couple days ago. On our property, under our deck, it come all the way down. There's been 3 or 4 other incidents with this dog, but never reported. And that's what the dog warden said. He said, we have had no reports. I said, well, the problem is nobody wants to get involved. And a couple of them, their dog come down onto their property. But still, it's a vicious dog, it's getting out. And then 30 minutes after it attacked my dog, it come back down the road again, coming back to my property. Because once a pit bull gets a taste of blood, you ain't gonna get rid of it. So I'm having to run around with the Marty Rambo and her husband. I've requested they put the dog down. They don't want to do it. It mauled one dog a couple months ago, pretty bad. Dukovsky's daughter up on the hill. It came onto their property and it mauled it. Supposedly from several of the neighbors, their 2 pit bulls mauled one of their own dogs months ago, killed it. It's bit Marty, the owner of the dog. And, as I talked to all 3 of them yesterday, they're all drunk. They don't want to do anything. You blow this off and blah, blah, blah. And there was another guy that had a situation with his dog. It was attacked. He didn't report it. Barry Bowden had a situation where he used a shovel to scare it off his property. He's got 2 little kids right across the street from this house, grandkids, very small. I told him something's going to happen. And I've also made the threat that I will put the dog down. So I went to the dog warden, asked, what do I do legally? On the phone call in before I went, the deputy he has out there, whoever it is, they've got some kind of deputy at the dog, said that if we shoot the dog, it's a felony.
That's true.
What? So after I talked to the dog warden, he's given me the instructions that if you're in fear or in fear that the dog is gonna hurt one of your people on your property or animals, then it's a different story. But that's why I told him I wanted to cover my butt if something happens to this. You know, it's just, and I'm gonna go see Sheriff Dan Wexler here in a little bit to cover my bases on that. And I wanna know before, because right now my wife is just hot.
Oh,
She's hot.
I mean, just listening to your story, it sounds to me like one of the problems is nobody's ever reported this to
Yeah.
the dog.
Yeah,
dog,
but there's a report now, so my question is, why doesn't the game warden or dog warden just come out and question him? I just made a report.
How long ago?
Yesterday, day before yesterday.
Yeah, it might take them some time. There's three
We'll
of them.
follow up with them though.
But it didn't act like they were going to. He's just gonna talk to his deputy guy, and he didn't seem of any importance, but I would think that would be something of importance. Because by the time one of these other neighborhood dogs, and there's 7, 8, 9 people have dogs on the street, they walk them up and down the road. Jim Giles is one of them, his wife, Kim, walks her little dog. I told her yesterday or day before, I said, if the dog comes out, pick it up. It's small. I said, you pick that dog up before it comes down. And she's got kind of bear spray or something she's used. But I've had 4 or 5 neighbors now saying they're gonna put this dog down if it comes on their property. Again, it's done this a few times. Everybody's up in arms, but nobody wants to get involved. You know what I mean?
And the 2 people with the children, do they also have an issue with their dog, their dog? Is that what I heard you
They're
say?
scared of the dogs out in their yard, out in the front yard, right across the street from it. And it's Barry Bowden's grandkids. So he's not happy. But nobody wants to rock the boat and upset a neighbor, you know what I mean, and report him. And I don't care. So that's the situation I'm working on. I just wanted to submit it to the county commissioners and let you know that.
Well, it sounds to me like you started the process, Jeff.
Yeah.
Of-
And we're gonna do letters. We're gonna do letters to every neighbor on the street. And if they have stories, I want them to fill out a story and sign it. Let's make the reports
Right,
and submit them, so.
Yeah, the reports, nobody's ever reported. It's hard.
right. They have to have legal grounds to do something, so that helps to give them that.
Yeah, well, I'm just hoping he comes out, and maybe he will.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll come out and question Marty and her husband and find out what
Yeah.
is going on and get a story from them, you know what I mean? So we can at least have.
We'll follow up,
Yeah.
we'll follow up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
I don't see anybody hurt.
Yeah.
Brenda, do you have anything you want to talk about?
I do not. That's okay.
Jason?
We have 11 o'clock bid opening, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we can motion to adjourn until then,
Yeah,
correct?
we just go and we'll just recess till 11 and come back.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Welcome back. We're here to do the bid opening for box culverts for the Knox County engineer. We'll start with the first bid from Mac Industries. Their bid is $182,412.00. 182,412.00. Could read that right, didn't I? This one is from USA Precast Concrete. Looks like 186.
Yeah, that's our estimate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
for the next page.
Looks like 159, 156. 0 cents. Repeat that?
Yes,
I'm
please.
sorry. 159, 156, 0 cents.
Thank you. Our estimate is 186,000, so at $90, so it's under the estimate. We'll go back to tabulate stuff, make sure everything's good, and then we'll award, so
Perfect.
thank you guys.
Thanks.
Any other business we need to talk about? Brenda, you done? Any? Good.
Motion to adjourn.
Stand adjourned.